This week, we're doing things a little bit differently. I have a question for you. What inspires you? Is it yarn? Is it the pattern? Is it a special stitch? Or maybe it's nature or a place that you've been to. Maybe it's a designer who has designed things in such a way that you just want to make every single thing that they create. I think sometimes that inspiration doesn't have to always come from the same thing. It can be just spontaneous moments in our life. And sometimes the inspiration can come from just breaking the rules and not following the pattern like everyone else. So this is not the first time that I've done this. This is kind of my favorite thing to do. I like to give myself permission to break the rules. And I guess that's kind of the theme of today's topics is breaking the rules, but in a really, really good way that allows your creativity to really bloom and make your makes represent you and not like everyone else. One of the times I've done it recently was out of this shawl. This is the Bag O' Day shawl. It was originally made using minis that were made out of a wool yarn. And we talked about pairing yarns to patterns last week. So I thought this was appropriate conversation to give you permission and that you can break the rules sometimes and it will be okay. My version of this is made from 100% cotton. And this was like one of those hobbii cakes and a gradient yarn. And Crystal Bag O' Day in her version used minis that were all these different colors, which both are great. Both have drape, but both are very different and both represent us. And I think that's the beautiful thing about crafting is you don't have to do what everyone else does. You can be different and you can allow the you to come out into your crafts that you're making. But this is not the only time I've done this. I have another example to show you where it's really different. So this one is the Easy Goes DK shawl, and this is a free pattern. And the Bag O' Day pattern, it's a free video on YouTube. So I'll link them both down below. And this thing was originally designed to be a single color. And I looked through all the pattern pages and they were all single colors. And I'm like, that's not inspiring to me. And so I chose 3 colors. And I did use it out of a wool blend yarn, but in this case, where last week I was telling you that, your yarn should win or your pattern should be the standout, I kind of let both of them be equal actors in the play. And I chose yarn that made the texture pop. So I chose yarn to make this garter ridge pop. I did a black background and a white high contrast. And then this orange just kind of blended perfectly because it has a little bit of specks of that black in there. And then I wanted this texture section to really pop and to have a very high contrast against the rest of it. So I used the black there. And I love how this turned out. I think it's amazing. And this is one of the shawls I wear around spooky season because it's very spookiest. But those are examples where I gave myself permission to break the rules. And it's okay when we do that. It still can be amazing. So this is the yarn that sparked the joy from it, and this is the Blossom from I Love This Yarn. Blossom off of this Blossopomus. And it's a 4-weight. This whole thing's going to be done. The pattern calls for an Aran weight. I'm just going to use whatever acrylic I come to, which is a 4 worsted or an Aran, depending on where people call it at that current moment in time. But this is what came out of the inspiration. And this is nothing big right now. It's just a little circle. But it's going to get big because nothing goes through yarn like a crocheted blanket. And I kind of chose that over doing something knit. But I saw this yarn, and then I saw that Juan, the yarn addict, had this new pattern called artisanal arches, and it's made out of this monochrome one color design. It's really really pretty. It's meant to be like an heirloom piece, but what I consider an heirloom piece may not be what you consider an heirloom piece. So I saw this one color blanket, and then immediately I saw it my way, and I saw this yarn in it. And so that is how this was birthed. A little bit of pairing of two random things coming together at one time to create something amazing. Because when I look at a pattern, I don't just see a pattern, I see possibilities, and I see a way to express myself and my creativity through that, even if it's by somebody else's pattern. And it's not doing their pattern any disservice by modifying it in any way. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this one, which you may can tell I've already started modifying a little bit. And I'm not going to share the pattern because of copyright. I am going to, when I get done with the total project, I will put some of my modifications down in my Ravelry description. And I've done that to past projects, and that's not breaking copyright. And because of that, it leads to inspiration in other people. Another shawl that I didn't show you earlier, but I did this on, was this Outlander knit along through Jimmy Beans. And it was knit up in these two colors. One was a speckled, and one was like this purplish or green color. And I did not, when I saw that pattern, I didn't see it in that yarn, and that's okay. My vision of something may not be your vision or the designer's vision, and it's okay to break free from that. And so when I made this. I chose white because that was Claire's dress when she first went through the stones, and then I chose colors as the accent of all the other dresses that she wore in a couple of the episodes. And so that is my interpretation of that pattern. And I shared that in my Ravelry project pages. And since then, I think there's been like two other people who's kind of done something very similar to that. And I don't take offense to that. I think it's awesome that they found mine so inspiring that they wanted to create something similar. But when I saw Juan's pattern, I kind of felt that. It's beautiful, but it's not me. And I want it to be me. And I want whatever you to make to be you. I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel inspired. I want you to feel like you are the master of your yarn and of your own creativity. And that's really what I hope you get from my channel. That empowerment of being creative. I want this to be mine. I want it to be joyful, and I want it to be an explosion of color. And so I have something else to show you. Because this video is not just about inspiration, it's about working through the processes that we have gone over during the week. Because you may be tired like me and you just need a week where you can kind of reset and you just can work on some of the other processes that we've been talking about, because I know I do. And so this is going to be our week to do that. But I do have a couple other storage things I want to show you, like this chair. This chair has really been amazing. This was something that my husband bought me in the fall for my birthday, and it is nothing but storage. The ottoman opens up and it's storage, and the seat itself is also storage and opens up. And while there is yarn and fiber there, and it is out of sight, sometimes out of mind, it also helped really tidy up the space. And I think for me, that really matters, because when space feels less cluttered, my mind feels less cluttered, and it's able to move and it's able to create. And so sometimes having things out in open storage systems can be really, really beneficial. The same can go for things that are out of sight and out of mind, as long as we know what's in them and that they're organized. And I think that's the main center focus, is getting to that place where you know where something is and you are aware of it and there's accountability. Another cute little storage thing that I picked up last week that I forgot to show was this cute little, I think it's a bear. Maybe it's like one of those whatever those little cute brown creatures are. This guy, I can't think of what it's called. But in here, I needed a way to store bits and bobs, leftovers that are from projects that I'm making now to put into my journal later when I get to them and not lose them. And some of you are very new to my channel. Many of you are. Hi, welcome. I'm Kim. Thank you for being here. I do keep a online journal of my knitting and crochet via Ravelry, and then I've kept a paper copy in the past, and I'm going back to that paper copy as well. And I've started really working in that, and in that I keep snippets and yarn labels. And so until I get to the pages up to date, because I'm backtracking, I'm in 2014 right now, I need a place to keep all those bits and bobs. And this is where Fred, we're gonna name it Fred, is gonna come into play. And so Fred just kind of opens up somehow. I have on lotion, so Fred may not open up very well. Okay. He just opens up and I can put that in there and he just looks cute sitting out. But you can use a jar for this, a mason jar. I mean, that was in the Target spot. I think Fred was $3 or $4 or $5. I just thought Fred was cute and I really love the color and he has glitter. So I like glitter. Something else that's really been helping me is actually creating my project pages for my whips on Ravelry. I've always done this in the past, but when all things of life was lifing so hard on me, I kind of fell behind and I really felt overwhelmed. And seeing all these projects on Ravelry really helps me be accountable because every time I log in, I see them. And accountability is not about pressure, it's about being honest with yourself about where you are at in your journey. And I think that kind of accountability is good. It makes us more in tune with what we're feeling and what's inspiring us. So I'm really enjoying seeing the project whips there, even though it used to be daunting. I feel it kind of inspiring now because I want to have a blend of new things and working on old things and letting those two things come together to create more things and to work through my stash. And maybe you're feeling that way too. So one of the videos in this series we're going to be talking about is ways to motivate ourselves to do that. So I can't wait to do that. It's going to be quite fun. This Friday, though, we're going to be talking about really planning out some projects and initiating a goal to getting them from your storage to a finished object. Now, it's not just been me who's making progress, many of you have as well. Many of you have shown me your crafting spaces and your projects on the Discord channel. And if you don't want to join Discord, that is perfectly fine. You can also go to, if you're on PC or if you're on mobile device, to the community tab on this channel, and you can actually share your photos there and everyone can see them and I can see them, and then you can tell me about them there. And I would really love for it if you would do that because you are what inspires me and our conversations that we have. I love having conversations with you all. I know I'm a little behind on comments. I try to do some like every standing chance I have. And then a couple of days a week, I go back and make sure no one has any replies to me. And I'll read those and comment with you there as well. But I just think that this community is so great. It's been so much fun seeing what you all have made, and I'm going to spend some time in Discord today. I'm going to try to get out. I've done yard work all weekend, but I need to go in and try to finish up all the linens in my in-laws' house and get all those cleaned out so I can start working on the clothes and get us one step closer to moving in that place. That's where everything's trying to connect for me. this whole process from this whole stash down process to the whole process of over there cleaning out, that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about using what we have and showing up in times and continuing on. Because perfection is not something that we can achieve, anyways. We were not created to be perfect. We are flawed, and sometimes our plans become a little flawed as a result of that. But we're just meant to be good stewards of the things that we're given and just to continue showing up and figuring out the processes that work to get us to our goal. So, this week, it's all about being inspired and taking a moment to slow down and find your inspiration. Maybe work on catching up on some of the steps if you're going through this with me. I know I have a couple more things to go through. I do have a basket of yarn that I have completed, and I got to put those in the bookcases, and I have a little bit more to go to inventory. But this week can be a little messy. You can give yourself permission to break some of the rules, and it can just be about having a reset if you need that. Maybe you have started the process and you got a little overwhelmed. Just take a reset, you know? Pick up yarn, crochet and knit, and then maybe tomorrow come back to inventorying your stash or going through your whips and making those decisions to let some go. Give yourself some grace. So tell me, what is inspiring you right now? Is it this whole series? Are you being extremely inspired by all this and going through your yarns? Is there a certain yarn that you found in your stash that you just fell in love with once again? I want to know its story and I want to hear your story down below. And until next time, bye. I'll see you Friday.